What's up guys, your Doomsday here. Today we're back again, and in this video we're going to be playing some more Wukong in the jungle. So for this match we actually have a pretty close match, and I think there's a lot of good things in this match to point out, so I thought I'd pick this match specifically. And I know I just uploaded some Wukong, like my last gameplay was a Wukong match, but Wukong is again probably still my favorite champ, and I've just played so much Wukong that Wukong's definitely my favorite jungler to play. Just because overall Wukong's a pretty well-rounded champ. You have solid skirmish potential, you can team fight, even in 1v1s it's pretty solid. Decent jungle clear, good ganking, so fits most of the criteria for what a good jungler needs. And that's in my opinion, why Wukong has been one of the most consistent champions in the jungle. And also in Baron lane, just because it's pretty hard to mess up Wukong. Also, he's a relatively simple, yet he can be a pretty impactful champ to play. So to start off this match, I'm just starting off with the red side clear, and I'm taking a look at what's going on in these lanes. And for the most part, these lanes seem pretty even. We have a Twisted Fate Orianna mid, and then Garen, Yone, and the bot side. So I'm just clearing my camps, keep an eye on these lane matchups over here, and for the most part, all these seem relatively equal for now. Nobody's really getting any hard pushes or anything, so just keep an eye on where everybody's going. And gonna head towards this top scuttle up over here. I don't really see any good gank potential or anything. Yone can probably easily just back off, and there's a ward there, so I just clear the ward and then gonna head towards the scuttle. And now whenever going for scuttles, because people finish clearing camps before the first scuttle spawns because they changes a little bit ago, you do have to be careful of the enemy jungler popping out, so making sure Xin Zhao doesn't pop back out. I burn Smite over there, secure that, and get some damage onto Twisted Fate. Force out the flash, they're one shot, and unfortunately Orianna gets a bit baited, but at least it was an execute, and there's the Xin Zhao. And I'm just able to run away over here. I'm not going to burn flash or anything. Should be able to get out of that without having to use anything, so just lose a bit of health, but that's okay because I could just smite back up. And I actually noticed that Twisted Fate's getting greedy for this wave, so I start to head back over here. I take the honey fruit and I actually go for a quick little flash engage and able to get some good burst damage down and get that kill. So now I know exactly what Xin Zhao is doing. I saw when he went to go on to me, he cleared his entire red side jungle, got the scuttle over here, and then went mid, exactly how I did. So I know that now he's clearing his entire blue side jungle, and I know he's not anywhere near this top side of the map. So this is actually a 5-man match right now. So I was actually talking to my teammates, and I knew that Xin Zhao wasn't going to be up there, but there's a Twisted Fatal. That's something that you do have to be mindful of. I'm staying inside of this bush because I don't want Twisted Fate to stun me. Because Twisted Fate is honestly one of the champs that can screw over Wukong the most, just because it disrupts his engage so badly. And now they're putting some pretty good pressure down, and I'm looking to see if I can wrap around, get a good kill or two. But at this point we do have to be a bit cautious because it has been a bit of time, so there is a chance again as we see that Xin Zhao is back. So I'm able to pick up one kill, able to put down some pressure, but there comes the Xin Zhao ult, and Xin Zhao ult at this stage of the game is such a broken ability, so unfortunately not able to pick up anything more, but we're still able to get out one kill and able to force out some ults. So now everybody's just resetting, going back to lane. And yep, so at that point, if you're taking that long, if you give enemy vision of you for so long around that top side and they're diveable, you kind of have to assume that the enemy jungler is going to head up soon to kind of match you. So that's something that I would advise caution against, is if you're going to go for a dive like that, don't reveal yourself for too long, or else, as we saw there, the enemy jungler will just end up catching back up. So now Xin Zhao, he's doing the same clear that I'm doing. Both of our red sides just respawned, so gotta clear this. And top side does need to be careful. We have a good ward here, so we can actually see if he goes for a gank from this side over here, but do need to watch out from the river area. We have no warding or anything over there, so I know if I want to go for a dive on this bot side over here that Xin Zhao won't be around to do anything yet. So Yone's going for a play on mid. Looks like he's going to go down here. Oh yes, we're able to get him. So now I'm taking the scuttle over here. This Garen's just getting some plates on the bot side, and now we kind of have to be careful of Xin Zhao because Xin Zhao's probably cleared his red side by now and has probably now moved on to his blue side jungle. So there is a possibility he goes for that Garen over here. I see this Twisted Fatal, and I just cancel Twisted Fatal. I honestly have no idea. And we see Jin Zhao coming over to his blue side now. I'll see if I can turn back onto his Twisted Fate. Able to pick up that kill over here, and now trying to get out of here if I can, but there's the Jin Zhao ult, and there is no getting away from that. But we're still able to pick up a kill, so not the worst of trades. And regardless, I end up scaling better than Jin Zhao, so as long as we can get through this early game without feeding Jin Zhao, we should be set, and as long as I can match him. But, yeah, I had no idea where Twisted Fate was ulted into, so, like, I got kind of, like, scared about that, and I was like, I'm just going to ult to cancel Twisted Fate ult, because, for instance, I didn't want Twisted Fate to, like, ult on top side, and then they get 2 kills from that, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go and cancel this ult, because that might save a teammate or two, for all I know. But now the first dragon is up, and I'm kind of pinging them, be careful, because notice what's happening. Notice how their Baron laner has rotated, and our Baron laner's just going for the first turret. So that's why I'm playing super far back, and I tried to ping my teammates not to go for that, but unfortunately, they get a bit caught out, and we have to give up this dragon over here. But notice how I did not engage in that fight. One mistake that I think a lot of junglers can make is following up your teammates for engages that are going to get you nowhere. Like, I knew going in for that, that would pretty much be guaranteeing that I was going to die, and it's just something that keep in mind. Is just because your teammates go in doesn't mean you have to also. But now I see they're heading over to Herald, and now we have all 5 of us grouped together, so we can start to head this way and now actually look for a 5v5 team fight. So we got the first turret in return for that dragon, so could have been a bit worse. But now getting some warding down, something we have to be super careful of is all their crowd control. So now notice how I'm playing kind of far back because I'm kind of respecting the Twisted Fate. And now I kind of get up in there, and I'm trying to kite back with my team, but unfortunately we just don't have the damage at this stage of the game. And gonna have to try and get out of here scotch-free if we can without going down. And now I kind of see that they're kind of splitting up. We have our teammates come back with more health, so able to re-engage. We're able to pick up this Nautilus down here, and now seeing if I can catch up to any of these people over here, but unfortunately they take the Honey Blast Comb over the wall and cannot do anything there. But the Vayne went back topside over there. He's just pushing the top turret. And now I see Twisted Fate actually rotating back to defend this mid turret, so I cut him off. The Jin Zhao pops up, and now the Jin Zhao is looking for an engage, and I'm trying to kite back to my teammates. That's what I'm trying to do. So at least if I go down, then my teammates can at least clean up the Jin Zhao. So I'm actually hiding inside of that bush so he can't auto-attack me. Because if you're hiding inside of a bush, he can't, like, auto-target his third ability or anything, so that was pretty good. I was able to live there, plus just by running away, I was trying to stall for my first ability, like, cooldown. Because if I just run away for a couple seconds till I get my first ability cooldown back up, then I can get a bit of heal and maybe some sustain. So that worked out pretty well. And now clearing up this red buff over here. And then I can reset and look for a shop as I have a decent amount of gold in me. But as I was saying, the Twisted Fate, something to be very, very cautious of if you're going up against a Twisted Fate is if you're looking for like a third ability into an ult in a team fight, make sure that Twisted Fate doesn't have gold card. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I think like a Wukong player can make against a Twisted Fate, is because if, for instance, if you step up with the third ability looking for a big engage onto 5 people and Twisted Fate has gold card pulled out, well, he's just going to stun you up in the middle of all 5 of them, and you're just going to get deleted before you can even get your ultimate off. So that's just something I really recommend being super cautious of, and trust me, I've definitely learned that the hard way, and I'm sure many others have too, so that's just something I care to point out. And also against a team like this, if you get stunned by Twisted Fate, then you're definitely gonna... Sorry. If you get stunned up by Twisted Fate, then you're definitely just gonna get, like, chain crowd controlled by Nautilus and by Vayne and everybody. So now, I see that they're just pushing that wave over there, and I'm trying to get this top turret over here, but unfortunately, Twisted Fate has a good ult topside to try and save that. So I have to back off over there. But now I see they're kind of split off in mid side, and I kind of tell my team, let's try and collapse onto them, so trying to catch up over here. That Vayne barely lives. They level up, which allows them to live. And now they're on the run. We're pretty far away trying to reach over if we can. And I think I accidentally switched it to the wrong mini-map. But, yeah, we're trying to chase down this Vayne over here. Unfortunately, that Vayne still has flash. So we're chasing pretty far. And they start to push this mid wave over here. And we are able to pick up the Vayne, but now looks like we might lose a mid turret over here. So I'm on the way back to this mid lane over here. Trying to just clear up jungle and stuff. And reset, waiting for the next objectives to respawn. And we are a little bit behind right now, but it's not unwinnable for sure. Especially because we have the better teamfight comp. We have an Alistar plus a Wukong that's a lot of crowd control, plus Orianna scales really well. Garen's going to get super tanky, and once Lucian gets some items, he could dish out more damage. And their champs in general also fall off as the game goes on, or at least some of them do. Like, Xin Zhao falls off pretty hard. I'm definitely more impactful than a Xin Zhao in the late game, just because I provide good crowd control in teamfights. But now, heading back up, we're trying to group before this next Herald spawns over here, seeing if we can get a good catch out over here. There's the Nautilus. And right now, one of the biggest mistakes you can make, and we're trying to be a bit cautious with this, but chasing too far. We have no warding of anybody else, so we make sure not to chase crazy far, but unfortunately, you can see that's why I'm playing super hesitant, is because I knew they went out like a step too far. So that's why like I didn't even engage there, because there was no way we could have done anything there. But now that we lost a teammate before that Herald, I actually don't contest the Herald, and I say I'm just going to try and cheese this dragon instead. While they're on that Herald, I'm going to try and just quickly burst down this dragon. So I kind of try and tell Garen to distract him if he can, or cut him off while I take down this dragon over here. So this Xin Zhao knows what's going on, but he can't get over there in time. So we're able to pick up that dragon, which is a pretty good trade. And unfortunately, the Garen goes down, but I think that's still an alright trade for the dragon. So now again, I'm being super cautious. I saw that Twisted Fate gold card, and I backed up until that was gone. And there's the Alistar engage, and now I'm able to follow up. And that's kind of just the power of Wukong, is if you can chain your crowd control with your teammates, you can just completely carry teamfights. And that's really why I like Wukong, is because it's such a good teamfight champion also. It's not like, it's like Xin Zhao is a pretty solid champ in teamfights too. Like, it's not the worst, but you just don't provide as much crowd control and utility as Wukong does. So now I'm just clearing up their entire jungle on the way out. We don't have any minions in mid, so couldn't really push anything. But that was really good. How I didn't engage from that Twist of Fate, had that gold card pulled out. That was super key, because if I would have stepped up and that Twist of Fate would have gotten gold card on me, then Nautilus would have just came and auto-attacked me, and I would have gotten rooted again, and then I just would have gotten bursted down by Vayne and Yone, pretty much. So now, farming back up, waiting for the next objectives to spawn, and the match is definitely more even now. That was a pretty good fight we have over there. And it's much better if the Alistar steps up and tanks a Twist of Fate gold card or something instead of me, because it's an Alistar, and they could definitely tank up way more. So it's also super key. I'd say, like, one of the biggest things as a jungler that a lot of people like lack, especially in higher tiers, I think this is what differentiates a lot of people in upper tiers, is being able to follow up on your teammates and their abilities, and understanding your teammates' kits too. And that's really key when ganking too, because for instance, ooh, it looks like this Garen's a bit caught out. Let's see if I can try and save him maybe. Ooh, that Vayne kind of chunks. Able to scare him off at least, but for instance, if you're ganking with a Garen, you have to understand that, like, Garen has no large, and as you can see, like, I took a decent amount of damage there, and try to get out of there. I get a pretty good Sterix gauge perk over there. You can see how clutch Sterix comes in, and now I'm on the run. I am one shot. That Vayne's trying to chase me down. I get a good first ability. That was a good turnaround. I got the heal plus the burst, so that was able to help me live, and now there's one person left in mid, and they're super low. So I just take the berries and go ahead and head towards the Baron area. But as I was saying, you really have to understand your teammates' kits to, like, be like a top tier jungler, in my opinion, because that's really key. For instance, when ganking, you have to understand if a Garen doesn't have a gap closing ability, they won't be able to chase down somebody like an Ezreal, for most likely, because Ezreal can just dash away if you're trying to gank him. Or, for instance, if you have a Riven on your team and you're trying to gank for him, if he just uses dash in his first ability combo, then he has nothing left to gap close. So you kind of just have to be patient and understand what's the right time to engage, what your teammates can do, or what crowd control they can provide, and how you can follow up. So, for instance, I know if I can land a 5-man stun, I should do it, like, even if I die, because that sets up for Orianna, because if I land a 5-man stun or knockup, Orianna can easily land a 5-man knockup, and it just chain CC, essentially. And timing it together right with your teammates. Especially if you could time it right to where as soon as, like, my knockup ends, the Orianna's knockup, like, starts. Because the crowd controls don't stack, so if you could time it right, so right as one ends, the other one starts, that's completely clutch. But now, we're trying to push in some waves over here. I got the Baron buff wave, and that Nautilus gets a giant barrier, and I'm trying to get this wave in. Trying to clear some wave. But unfortunately, this Nautilus is actually doing a really good job of like clearing that wave. And Twisted Fate shows up, and that kind of catches me off guard. And I kind of int a bit over here. Let's see if I can get away. There's Twisted Fate ult. And unfortunately, I'm not able to get away from that. But looks like our teammates were able to get a kill on the top side over here. And somehow they still have this first tier top turret. So that was a bit of a stretch on my part. I definitely should have realized Twisted Fate was there. And Twisted Fate ult can chase me down. But I was kind of surprised by how well the Nautilus was, like, able to, like, defend the turret. Dude, Nautilus is just one of the most, like, obnoxious champs to go against with all the crowd control. It's just such good at healing back for your teammates. And now, yep, our teammates are just pushing down turrets. Gotta watch out for the Twisted Fate gold card. And now, I'm almost back. The dragon's spawning, so can start to head in that direction soon. Get a shopping. But yeah, as for itemization this game, definitely needed Randuin's. I think if in this game for last item I could either go Frozen Heart or I could go Guardian Angel. I'd probably go Guardian Angel, honestly, just because really it's only Vayne that's like super auto attack based. Xin Zhao actually gets like most of his damage from his abilities. It's really not even his auto attacks. His auto attacks hurt in the early game, but once he gets to late game phase, it's mostly just his second ability and his ult that provides his damage. So don't really need it for Xin Zhao. Maybe for Yone that could help, but I think Guardian Angel would definitely provide more value. And either way, once you get to the super late stage of the game, you can, for instance, like buy Guardian Angel first, and then once you lose the perk for Guardian Angel, like once you get the Guardian Angel pop, just sell it and buy Frozen Heart then. That's kind of something you could do in the late game if you have enough gold. So now, I kind of see that there's two of them up here. I'm seeing if maybe I can get a pick off onto this Yone. He tries to ult away. He flashes too, so I kind of just let him have that one. Let him get away for free. Plus Vayne is somewhere around, and we have no vision on anybody else, so that'd be kind of a risky play. Plus with Twisted Fate ult, something else we gotta be a bit cautious of. So now I'm just pushing up this top wave. The Baron spawned, and I'm not too worried about them coming up to me because I know I'm pretty beefy. Plus I have my clone. I can escape. They can't really do very much to me. But I actually got Locket for my enchant. You can go a couple different things. You can go like, usually I like to just play super supportive. I usually go like Locket or like if tank doesn't have redemption or anything. And as you can see, get a huge knock up there, and we're just able to clean this up. And as you can see, we just have so much crowd control that like once somebody starts it, you can't really get out. But yeah, my playstyle is just super utility based. So I go Locket. It really does a really nice job of, for instance, like defending against Xin Zhao ult because they have a like AoE with that. And I think Locket's like a super good enchant, but a lot of people don't really like playing it. So we're able to get that kill there and looking pretty good. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below for some more, and I'll see y'all in the next one.